I used to think money problems came from not knowing enough, but that is not the real problem for most people. The real problem is what happens in our head when money shows up. Fear, pride, panic, comparison. I think that is why the psychology of money hits so hard. It shows that smart people can still make awful money choices if their emotions are driving the wheel. What stood out to me is how simple this truth is. Money is not just math, it is behavior. Two people can look at the same market, the same job, or the same paycheck and walk away with totally different choices. Why? Because they do not have the same life story, the same fears, or the same idea of what is safe. That is the deeper point here. A lot of money pain is not about being dumb. It is about being human. And once I saw that, the whole book felt more useful. It stops sounding like a finance lesson and starts sounding like a mirror. One of the first ideas that really landed for me is this: no one is crazy. People make money choices based on what they have lived through. If someone grew up poor, they may hold cash tightly. If someone grew up during a long bull market, they may take bigger risks. Both people think they are being smart. That is what makes this book feel so real. It does not shame people for being cautious or bold. It says our money habits come from memory, fear, hope, and even ego. And I think that matters, because most people do not need more pressure, they need more understanding. This is why cold advice often fails. You can tell someone to invest, save, or spend less, but if the advice does not fit their life, they will not stick with it. The book keeps reminding me that personal finance is never just personal because of the money. It is personal because of the person. And that is a big shift. When I think about money this way, I stop asking, what should everyone do? I start asking, what can I actually live with?
Here is where the book gets even more interesting. Morgan Housel keeps showing that success and failure are not as clean as they look. Good outcomes do not always mean good choices. Bad outcomes do not always mean bad choices. Luck and risk are always in the room. I like this idea because it keeps me humble. A person can make one smart move and get lucky. Another person can do everything right and still get hit by bad timing. That does not mean effort does not matter. It means life is messier than our stories. And honestly, this is one of those lessons people need in money, work, and life. It is easy to look at a winner and copy them. It is just as easy to look at someone who lost money and call them foolish. But the book says slow down, look wider, ask what you cannot see. That is a pattern break for me. The outside result is not the whole truth. Sometimes the real lesson is hidden in the part we never notice. And if I miss that, I end up learning the wrong thing from the wrong story.
This is one of the strongest parts of the book for me. Getting money and keeping money are different skills. Getting money can take risk, bold moves, and some optimism. Keeping money asks for the opposite. It asks for caution, humility, and a lot less ego. That contrast is simple, but it changes how I think. A lot of people chase big gains and forget that one bad move can wipe out years of work. Housel keeps pushing the idea of survival. Stay in the game. Do not blow up. Do not risk your whole future for a fast win. What I like about this idea is that it feels calm. It is not saying never take risks. It is saying take risks you can live through. That is a huge difference. For me, this is where the book becomes practical. Wealth is not just about earning more, it is also about not losing what you have already built. That is a quieter skill, but it may be the more important one. Making money is one game. Staying wealthy is another.
The book also makes a strong case for time. Compounding is not flashy. It is boring at first. Then, all at once, it looks like magic. Small gains, saved and repeated long enough, can grow into something huge, but only if you leave them alone. That is why patience matters so much here. Most people interrupt growth too soon. They panic, they restart, they compare, they get bored. And every time that happens,
compounding loses power. What stood out to me most is how Housel connects money to freedom. He says the best thing money can buy is control over your time. That means having the choice to wake up and decide what matters today. Not just to buy things, but to buy space. And then there is the hard part. Enough. The goalpost can keep moving forever if we let it. More money, bigger house, better status. But if I never decide what enough means, I can ruin a good life trying to impress people who are not even watching closely. That part feels very modern to me. Comparison is expensive. If I had to pull this book into one clear truth, I would say this: money is less about being a genius and more about being steady. Save more than you show. Stay humble. Leave room for error. Think long term. And protect your freedom. That is what makes this book so useful for me. It does not ask me to become perfect. It asks me to become aware. That is a lot more real. Because once I understand my own money fears, I can stop treating every choice like a crisis. The simple rules I would keep are these. First, do not confuse rich with wealthy. Second, do not let ego run your spending. Third, do not quit on compounding too soon. And fourth, always ask what enough looks like for you. That is the kind of money wisdom I wish more people heard early. It is calm, it is clear, it lasts. If you want more book ideas made simple, subscribe to the 5-Minute Shelf. And for me, this is one of those books that keeps reminding me that real progress is quiet, patient, and built one good choice at a time.